Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hot Mess Homeschooler podcast and video. Today, I have on one of my friends, Chrissy Ford. I knew her from Iowa, and she is a money and mindset coach. And we have been chatting previously, and now I'm bringing her on so we can share her wonderfulness with you. Chrissy, would you like to introduce yourself and tell a little bit about you and your story?
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Stacy. This has been an amazing journey, and I can't wait to share it with everyone. So, you've already mentioned I am a money and mindset coach. And if you want to know a little bit about my story, how this started was I pretty much hit rock bottom about a year ago and a little over a year ago. And I realized that I needed to be better with my health, be better with my mindset around my health and my family and just pretty much life. And so I hired a coach, and my coach helped me create a completely different mindset. And I struggled with the way that I was eating. And so I changed my lifestyle completely. And by doing so, I am in the best health that I've ever been. My numbers are great for all of my blood work and everything. And it all started with just working with a coach. And it's just been amazing. So I worked in the banking world previously, and I quit my job. And I decided that I'm just going to do what I did at the bank and help coach others, not only with creating a better mindset about money, and that's where the money part comes in. But I also work with clients on creating a better mindset around their life and their health, because I want everyone to feel as great as I do now.
That's so amazing. And I think what struck me when we were talking earlier and you shared, when you had your health issues, you hired your coach and she helped you so much with your mindset that you made one change, which really for you was to start eating healthier and, become, more fit, lose some weight, whatever. And that one change led to this ripple effect of where you are right now. And you said that you felt like the weight has been lifted, and it's almost like you
Yes.
just like up leveled your whole life, with that one step of just hiring the coach and working on what happened up here.
That's exactly what happened. Like, it's so funny because when I tell people my story to a certain extent, they're like, what? Like, yes, literally just taking that one step, and a step that I never thought I would actually take, to be honest. Like, I'm fine. Like, it's okay if I almost hit rock bottom. Like, I'll figure it out, because I didn't want to ever face the fact that I needed help. And I feel like a lot of people get to that point where they're like, yeah, I'm not going to ask for help. And especially as women, because, a lot of times we're people pleasers and everything. We don't want to ask for help. So it took a lot to make it to that step to ask for help. And then when I did, like, I can't even begin to describe to you how much impact that had. That ripple effect was amazing, because I am living the life that I've always wanted to live now.
That's so awesome. And I think for most of us, we have this control issue, right? Like,
Yeah.
we feel like we should be able to control it all. And when we can't or we don't, and then it's almost like there's maybe shame or pride or fear, like if you don't have all the answers. So I think it's okay to admit, it's okay that I'm not okay, but how do I make that better? You know what I mean? So
That's exactly how I felt. So, yeah, what else do you want to know about this amazing journey?
Well, do you want to share a little bit about like what you do with your clients? What can they expect from you, and the kinds of things that you work with them on?
Yeah, definitely. So, like before, as stated, I am a money and mindset coach. So I have two kind of different categories, and people say, like, how did you come up with something like that? And so what I did was I took, like I said before, my previous banking experience, and plus, I will be 100% honest with you. I did not have a good money mindset. So I met my husband back when I was in college and I was working 3 jobs. And like I say in my book that I had Cadillac taste on a Kia budget. I was terrible with money. So my husband has always been great with money. So he really had to teach me how to create a healthier money mindset. And so that's kind of how that piece of my business started, was because I personally have went through that. Like I was like, I got a paycheck, I'm just going to go blow it. And I didn't really understand the idea of a real budget. Like I had one when I was in college, but it was just to make sure I didn't go negative, let's be honest, and that I could afford my bills. So my husband teaching me like, hey, guess what? Like you need to put money in savings every time you get a paycheck. And I'm like, why does anybody want to do that? Come on, seriously.
That's not even fun.
Yeah, like that's not fun. But in reality, it can be fun, and you have to like have the right mindset around it. So that's what I teach people, is like having a budget actually, as crazy as it sounds, since that word sounds so terrible to so many because they're in that mindset, is that it allows you more freedom. And I mean, you've said it yourself, it does. Like you're telling your money where to go. And that is the most important thing that you can do. And
well, first of all, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to say, I think it's so awesome that you were able to hear, because so many marriage troubles happen over money, especially when people like you have a husband like you, and then, or a husband like him, you're like you. And my husband and I have had our own journey of money, and it's like we've kind of had to grapple it out, just to, unfortunately, him and I are both enablers of each other, so that could be a problem. I think it's great that you were able to be receptive and learn. One of the things that was huge for us, like I was telling you before, is I used to feel that way, like a budget was restrictive, and, I didn't want that, because when I got my money, I got my money, and I always said champagne taste on a beer budget was my, my saying. And to some extent I still do, but I got to tailor it down a little bit.
Scale it down. Yes. Well, like I say, because like I get my nails done, and people like might look at me like, well, she gets her nails done. But I incorporate some of the things that I find as my needs, even though they're really not needs, they're still wants, but like I classify them as needs into my budget. And that's what I teach people, is because they think, oh my gosh, if I have a budget, like I can't go get my nails done, or I can't go get that coffee at Starbucks, today. Well, I mean, if you put it in extreme and you get a Starbucks coffee 6 days a week or twice a day, that's totally different. But you still can budget the things that you really enjoy doing in your life. You just make room for it. And that's why
having the money, like I was saying before too, it's like now when big bills come, or, I have something come up, or, like, oh, a medical bill, like I have been padding all those different places in my budget. So now it's not a panic. It's not, where does this money come from? And if I need to, I can shift things around accordingly. But for me, it truly has been freedom, like what you're talking about. And I don't think I could ever go back. I have to see what it is and have that idea in my head. And I don't know, some people might look at it like, oh, that's just a lot of work, but I think it's smart to have that idea, so you're not overextending yourself or finding yourself short at the end of the month.
Well, yeah, and I actually have gotten that same response quite a bit. Like, that seems like it's a lot of work to do that. But the method that I use, and honestly, my husband and I have been using it for years now, and I didn't even know, I didn't know the name to it. Like, I didn't know that like what we were doing was actually called this.
So you were doing a thing before it was a thing.
Yeah, like I didn't know it was like a thing, because my husband's always like, well, we put this amount in savings every paycheck, and we do this. Like we had this like allocated way of doing things and allocating our budget and our money. But then I was like, as I like started teaching it, I'm like, there's a name to it. And it is the 50-30-20 method for budgeting. It's the rules for budgeting.
I've never heard of that one before, actually.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, yeah. Okay.
No.
So Elizabeth Warren was like a senator. She's the one that created it years ago. and I think even Dave Ramsey might use that one. I'm not 100% sure. But we were doing essentially that, not knowing that that's what we were doing. And so I realized that, hey, this actually works and like it can help people, and that's what I've been teaching. But the thing is that it's called the 50-30-20, which is 50% of your budget should go to your needs, like housing. 30% goes to your wants, which is like what you want to spend money on, like my nails or whatever. And 20% goes to your savings. But when I teach this, and a lot of people agree, that you actually don't consider it 50-30-20, you consider it 20, 50, 30. So always putting that savings in the beginning. Like that's really what it should
Taking
be.
it right off the top of whatever you get.
Yeah. Because when you put that money in savings right away, like you don't have this like, but the great thing about this budget style too, is that if you do overspend, say in your wants category or your needs category, you can shift it. Like it's so variable, but you don't want to shift the 20%. So like I say, some people might be a 60 in their needs, a 20 in their wants, and a 20 in their savings. So anyways,
so the rest of the percentages can shift a little bit, but you say the 20% should be. Now, when you say savings, does that include investments and stuff too, or just a savings account?
Yes. Yep. So a savings can include if investing in your 401k. It includes debt repayment. So like if you're paying off your loans, it includes emergency funds. So what I typically tell my clients, especially if they've never established a savings account, is to establish a savings account and have a minimum of 2 full paychecks in it. Because here's the thing, what are we known to do? If we get in a pinch and say our heater breaks or, something goes out, if we don't have that security blanket and that savings account, we're going to go out to the bank or go somewhere, our credit card, and we're going to put it on our credit card, or we're going to go to the bank and get a loan depending upon the amount. Now, if you had started building that savings account and you had that security blanket in there, then that helps eliminate the reoccurring debt that continues to snowball if things happen.
That was so huge for us because that's how we used to do it. We felt like our credit card was our emergency savings. But then once you start spending on that, you're like, oh, well, we already have this balance. So what's one more dinner, right? Or what's I just want that thing from Amazon. Who cares? So it starts to snowball for sure. And then you find yourself in a world of trouble where if you would have just had the pot that you could have pulled from, initially, then you're fine.
Yes, exactly. That's it. And like I said, years ago, I didn't even like before I met my husband, I was like, what? My car would break or something. And I'm like, oh, cha-ching, credit card. And then I get it at the end of the month and I'm like, crap, I can't pay that off. Like, I didn't realize I went out to eat like 27 times and like bought a new purse and,
yeah.
Plus, let alone the fixing of a mechanic. So yeah, that's pretty much what I teach people. And I keep it simple. I have a strategy that I use that really allows them to just plug their numbers in. It calculates it for them, and then they can just kind of go from there.
So you could take somebody who maybe has never budgeted before, has no idea where to begin, and you could help them start on that path of that 50-30-20.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
I always say creating a simple, sustainable budget, because like I said before, if you tell people it's a budget, they have this negative mindset usually already. And they're like, I don't want a budget. So they have that like, if you don't make it sustainable, meaning that you allow them to do things that they still love to a degree, they won't ever succeed with it, because they're going to be like, well, you're restricting me on everything that I love to do. And why would I want to do that? So like you build that into their budget and work, there is some give and take, granted, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, yeah, we just categorize things.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's, yeah. And for me, I was mentioning to you, one of my favorite that has helped me, and I've used things like, oh gosh, I don't remember the name of them. It was super popular. Microsoft Money, I think, was way back in the
Mhm.
day, and I don't even know if that's still a thing. But now I use something called YNAB, which is You Need a Budget, and I love it because it's on the web, so I can take it with me even when I travel. I can access it with my phone on an app, or and it keeps me like all the gas receipts, all the fast food, or whatever it is that when you're traveling through places. I can keep track and everyday stuff too. And then I have every dollar has a job and I have very specific categories,
Mhm.
but it's great for me because like I said, it helps me think up here, oh, we can't really go out to eat now because we spent that much money, because then I am a drastic underestimator of what I have spent. And then all of a sudden, when I sit down to start putting in all my receipts, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I had an Amazon purchase, and I was out to eat like here, here, and here, and got gas and did this. And so having the specific categories helps alleviate that for me, and then I can adjust as necessary. But that wine app for me has been huge to be able to see everything. It's very organized and it makes sense to my brain, and has really helped me see where my money's going and how to plan accordingly. When you're talking about the give and take, realizing, okay, I know we have friends coming into town, so maybe I need to up my grocery budget by
Right.
another $100 or so to make sure that I have some play for that.
Yes. I love that you said that because like I was mentioning to you before, like I have the app, I downloaded it and I have been using it. But before I would go out and tell my clients to, download this app, it's great, it's everything. I want to personally make sure that it makes sense, and so hearing that testimony from you and how well it works for you, like was like, oh my gosh, okay, now like this is something that I feel like, okay, if I keep going with it, I can, you know, refer them more, when they're out and about, like you said.
Right.
I
And
love
it's
it.
great because, like I said, everybody got their phone out, so you can, whether
Yeah.
you're scanning your app for wherever you are, Target or whatever, you can just plug in at the cash register what you spent and see immediately it deducts from that category. So you're even on the go, you can still, keep track of that.
Mhm.
And for my listeners, if you're interested, I do have a referral code. So please feel free to hit me up either at hotmesshomeschooler.com, find me on the socials, and I'll be happy to get you that code as well. So, Chrissy, talk to me a little bit about money mindset itself. I think a lot of times women have an issue with money, especially like Christian women. I don't know. I feel like money can be a huge loaded topic. And so how do you work with people who maybe have like these negative feelings, or, feelings of poverty? You know what I mean? How do you work with them?
Okay. So, not to put this out there, but I essentially am. I created it's a pretty short handbook. It's actually an ebook on Amazon. It's a Kindle ebook, and it's called Creating Healthy Money Habits. And the reason why I created it was because that was me. That was exactly me years ago before I met my husband. And what I do is I teach people, you do have to kind of look back at your past and
Mhm.
who shaped you on your money behaviors. And I know that sometimes we don't want to look at that. Like, I'm not a counselor or anything like that, but really who you are as a person today and how you are with your money more than likely has a direct reflection of how you grew up, or how, what you did with your money when you first got your first paycheck or something like that. So I really have a worksheet in my book that allows people to go through those steps. And then another part of that is it teaches them how to shift their mindset in rewarding healthy money behaviors.
That's awesome.
Because yeah, at the end of the day, we all, I mean, myself included, I went through a lot, but I still have bad money habits sometimes. Like, it's human nature, and you will have moments where you have a bad money habit. Like
Because you
Target.
want what you want or whatever.
Yeah,
You don't want to wait to save up to get
yeah,
it, or it's on sale right now.
right. So like I always say, like, I'm not like this great, like, whoa, like epitome of life here. Like, We are human and we all have those moments for sure. Like Target, it gets me. Like I can relate to all women when you go into Target. My husband hates Target, like, because then I'm like, oh God, we have to shift some money because I spent this here. So it's all a matter of still shifting things. Like if I have a little bit more wants than I wanted this month, then I take away from certain other areas. Like that's what I teach women, is that as women, we do live in a society where everything is at our fingertips. And I mean, men included. Like we can get on the internet right now and I could have something delivered to my house in like a day or two.
Right.
Okay. That affects our budget significantly. Like this impulse that I need it now and I can have it now. So one thing that I do teach people, and myself included, I don't do it now, because you realize that you can do things off impulse, is that you eliminate some of those temptations. So like, how you can add your credit card to something and
yeah, it's just way too easy. It's way too easy to shop online. I've been in Target before and I'm like, I don't know about the price of that. I've looked on Amazon, found it cheaper, and it hit buy in Target, because I can, and it's cheaper, and it's like everything got my money, and it's like they make it so easy for you to just spend your money.
Yes, exactly. So the one thing that I honestly encourage a lot of women is to restrict yourself. I'm all about supporting local. Like I have always been that way. But at the same time, I get on these boutiques and stuff and I'll see like a cute top, or, we're all human natures. Like we want to do that. And I want to support somebody local. But I had to like stop following those as much, because then, you're sitting on the couch and you're like, oh, like I need this or I need that. And you really don't need it. So like, yeah, I still like their page on Facebook, but maybe I don't go as often to it. It's like a treat to myself. So that's pretty much what I teach all women, because most women are guilty of it. But at the end of the day, as long as you're putting money in savings, girl, there's freedom.
I am hearing that savings is a priority.
You can still live your life and not be miserable.
Well, and I love that. And I love this. And I love that you're just like us. You are living our same life. We're all human, that it sounds very realistic and not scary, so I love the approach that you have. And I think it's important too, like, even as a coach, or even with me, like, my health, like I'm on a journey with my health too, like you're on a journey with your money, but we can still share the offerings and the things that we have learned along the way to help other people, so I think that's great. So
yeah,
thank you so much. I think these have been amazing tips. Where can people find you if they are interested in working with you? And can you repeat the name of your book on Amazon so that way people can, snag that if they want that workbook?
Yeah. So my book is Creating Healthy Money Habits. It is an ebook, a Kindle on Amazon. So you can check it out. It's $9.99. And then it'll be downloaded to your Kindle. It's my first book ever. So, it's amazing. Right?
So awesome.
It was an experience. I loved it. And they can follow me. My business name is actually Ace Your Health and Wealth. So I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. So they can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And I put tips out there often on just mindset coaching, and also money habits and things that will help you have a brighter future. So definitely check out and by the way, I'm on TikTok now. Oh, okay. So that's its own beast, but definitely check me out on TikTok. Especially other women over 30 need to support other women over 30 on TikTok. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even there. I'm like, I'm not sure I'm ready for all that yet, but
woo! It's been fun. Like, it is. So I'm on TikTok too. So you can always check me out there and my fun, crazy videos that I don't even know what I'm doing sometimes, because I'm over 30 and I don't know if I should be on it. But
yes, you should. Yes, you should. I'm way over 30 plus. So yes, it's for everybody. I will definitely will link to all of Chrissy's socials so you can find her and her ebook in the comments below. And then I'll also put them on my blog with her top tips. So that way you can read it there at hotmesshomeschooler.com. Be sure to follow me on the socials. And until then, everyone, take care and be alive and well. Bye.